We all have tasks we actively dread. It is that specific, heavy feeling of burnout and quiet disgust that creeps in when you are faced with repetitive, low-status, or unglamorous work. This image shows a short excerpt from a collection called The Daily Divine Digest. It contains a specific counter-perspective to that modern exhaustion. This text is a daily meditation written by Swami Chidbhavananda. Specifically, we are looking at his entry for March 23rd. At the top, you will see the Roman numeral 3 next to a single critical term, Dharma. Dharma translates simply as one's inherent, necessary duty, or the right action required in the world at any given moment. By breaking down the logic on this single page, you can acquire a mental framework to neutralize the misery attached to your worst daily tasks. Looking at the first two lines, the text establishes its core rule immediately. Notion of ugliness is in the defective mind. The author categorizes disgust towards certain jobs as a cognitive error. The defective mind is the observer projecting internal biases. The next sentence clarifies the physical reality of the situation. It is not in the work done by man. The labor itself, sweeping a floor or organizing a spreadsheet, is neutral. It has no inherent emotional quality. You can see this play out in real time. Two people can process the exact same stack of mundane paperwork. One person grips the pen with resentment. The other treats it as a quiet exercise in order and focus. If the feeling of ugliness originates entirely in the mind, the observer can resolve the issue by adjusting their own perception. To test this logic, the text pushes the theory against three societal extremes. It starts with the ascetic, representing the highest perceived level of spiritual discipline and physical isolation. This path requires severe physical deprivation and intense meditation. It is an extreme, all-consuming duty to the spiritual realm. Next, the text identifies the loyal wife, representing the traditional, everyday domestic sphere. This is the continuous, quiet duty required to maintain a family and a home. Finally, it introduces the scavenger. This represents the physically repulsive manual labor required to keep a civilization functioning. This is the gritty, exhausting reality of cleansing dirt and filth from public spaces. It is a stark contrast to the ascetic's quiet isolation. Reading the next lines reveals a radical philosophical equalizer. The text explicitly states that one phase of Dharma is as important and indispensable as the other. Elevating the monk while degrading the sanitation worker is a symptom of the defective mind. Because a functional universe requires both the spiritual and the physical to be maintained, the two tasks are spiritually equal. The ultimate conclusion reveals how to apply this logic. When viewed as Dharma, all secular activities metamorphose into the sacred. The word metamorphose describes a total structural transformation from a chore into a spiritual exercise, triggered entirely when consciously viewed as Dharma. This is not a modern productivity hack. The author attributes this rule directly to the Mahabharata. The Mahabharata is a massive ancient Indian epic that forms the foundation of Hindu philosophy. The concept carries thousands of years of historical weight. Directly, you do not need to change the physical movements of your work to find fulfillment. You only need to change your underlying justification. Looking at the page in its entirety, the argument follows a straight line from the defect of the mind to the equality of all labor. We can translate this ancient Vedantic philosophy into a modern, actionable mandate for your own routine. Select one specific task in your life right now that you actively avoid. Choose the chore you consider boring or beneath your abilities. Perform that exact task today, but as you do it, consciously apply the Dharma framework. Frame it as an indispensable duty that maintains the order of your life. Executing your mundane duties with sacred intent provides a path to fulfillment that escaping to a mountain cannot.